Marc Theissen is the former chief speechwriter for President George W. Bush and a fellow at the American Enterprise Institute. Marc, this time last night we were talking about the fact that the president chose to go off to his New York City fundraisers while we were looking at almost 300 dead civilians in Ukraine. And tonight we stand in a different place in that the president did come out. He made extensive remarks. He took questions. Your thoughts on the message he brought?
Well, I was struck at the difference between the tone of his statement and the substance of his statement and what Samantha Power said up in the UN. I mean, good for Samantha Power. She went out there and laid out a searing case against Russia, a searing indictment of Russia, and she laid this directly, the responsibility for this act, directly where it rests, at Vladimir Putin's feet. She mentioned Putin over and over again. President Obama mentioned Putin once in his prepared statement, saying that he had spoken to him. She laid this right at Putin's feet.
And just hold that thought for one second, because we have just a little comparison of the two to show the viewers what you're talking about. Watch.
Russia, these separatists, and Ukraine all have the capacity to put an end to the fighting.
This war can be ended. Russia can end this war. Russia must end this war.
Very, very different.
Very different. And she went on to say that Vladimir Putin has come into the UN time and again and promised that he wanted peace, and every single time he has failed to come through. She said he's responsible for this. She laid out details of the weapons that he's been providing. She laid out facts.
How does that happen? How is our UN ambassador and our president, how are they so on different pages?
I know, it's as if she sounded like Ronald Reagan and he sounded like Jimmy Carter. I mean, how is it that we get to the point that we're getting more resolve out of the U.S. mission to the United Nations than we are out of the White House? That's the situation we're in right now. I mean, the president barely mentioned Putin. She lays this all out. She put it right at his feet. Well, this is the kind of statement we should be hearing from the president of the United States, not the UN ambassador.